Hello, it's only me again. So today's video is all about financial tips. And the biggest thing that you're going to have to pay for, of course, is your surgery. So I learned the hard way and I forgot to notify one of our patients to tell their bank that they will be using their card in a foreign country for a large amount, and their card got blocked the day of surgery. And she was very stressed, and she had to be on the phone for ages, which in those phone calls are not helpful because you're in a queue. And of course it's like running up your phone bill if you haven't chosen a good roaming package and whatever. So my tip number one is, if you're choosing to use your regular bank card or credit card to pay for this surgery, please phone your bank and tell them that you're going to be using it in Indonesia for a large amount. And then they know then to look out for that, and it will stop them from blocking your card on the day of surgery, because we want you to be relaxed and everything to be smooth as. So my second tip is, if you are not already using Wise, which is a global bank, I really recommend them. Disclaimer, I don't work for Wise. I don't get anything in return for saying this. I am just saying this as one of their customers. The card is brilliant. It's super slick. The app is amazing. You can choose whatever currency that you want. The fees are really low. So I'm British and I have most of my money in my British bank account, and then I transfer it over into my Indonesian account, and it's like 30p, which I guess is 60 cents in Australian money. And I do this on a regular basis, and it's really slick. It's just that the app is amazing. So a lot of the patients that we work with also use Wise, and they also give very positive feedback. So if you're not already using it, go onto wise.com, have a little look at the rates and see if you're happy with that. And it's just great for using all over the world. The fees are really small. And because some banks charge like a percentage of the amount. So of course, if you're paying $12,000 or whatever it may be for your surgery, and you're using your local bank credit card or an Australian bank account, that can be quite a hefty whack, right? And it's better off in your pocket to have further treats while you're in Bali. So yes, check out Wise if you haven't already. Another little tip is to get into the habit of using it before you come to Bali. So put it on. You'll have a look at the app when it comes through, and it just says add money, and then you put your money in, and you can choose your currency and go and pay for a coffee, or go and pay for dinner, or go and buy some clothes, some new clothes to go with your new enhanced look, and get used to seeing how it works so that you're more relaxed. So obviously that my biggest job is to try and get your nervous system as relaxed as possible. So you getting familiar with Wise and the banking app before you come over here, again, reduces any anticipation around making for your payment. Now, another tip, which I learned from one of my other patients, is she's been paying for this in advance, in instalments, so that when she arrives in Bali, it's all paid for. Some people aren't comfortable with that, which I totally understand. Some people pay for it in full before they arrive here. So everybody has a different hospital and different surgeons, and they all have their own different terms and conditions. So if you're open to this idea, reach out to the hospital administration team and say, if I pay for this in full and I come over, and if for whatever reason the surgery doesn't go ahead, how much of it will I get back? Like, what's the cancellation fee? And most of the time they'll give you the majority of it back, but that might be another thing to consider. It's less decision making, it reduces the decision fatigue, and ticks off another job when you're coming over here to do. Another little tip is, if you're going to be getting your cash ready, like your actual loose cash in notes, is getting familiar with them. So some people have never been to Bali before, and it's quite alarming the volume of zeros, because everything's in thousands and millions. And I've been here like 2.5 years, and even I get a little bit confused from time to time, but it's actually quite easy for Australians. So the two biggest notes that we have here is 100,000 100,000k, which is basically $10, and then you have a 50,000k, which is $5, and then everything below that is a bit like loose change. So you have all of these notes busting out of your purse and you feel like a millionaire, and technically you are in Indonesian rupiah, not in Australian dollars. So just get familiar with that. So the biggest note is $10, and which is red, and the next one is green. So the red one is 100,000 and the green one is 50,000, which is $5. So another little tip is, although they seem like quite small notes in comparison to what you may have in Australia, obviously that's quite big money to the locals. So if you can, once you've been here a couple of days, is use those bigger notes to get change, to get those loose change, but it's not coins, it's notes, because otherwise you just end up over tipping everywhere you go. If you tip, you might not be a tipper, and that's absolutely fine. A lot of restaurants include service in the bills. They'll use like 10% or whatever, but let's say you pay for your taxi and you want to give them a couple of dollars, and you've only got a 5 or a 10. You don't really want to be tipping $5 and $10 every time you're in a taxi, but it is really lovely to just give them like $1 or $2 because they're on very low money, and it really does support their family and their children. So yeah, if you're open to tipping, just give them like $1 or $2, and it really does. They are really very, very grateful. You don't need to give $10 every time. Okay, I'm just trying to check my notes. So yeah, own bank, Wise, change, paying in installments. And then the other thing is I think I touched upon this in one of my other videos, is your phone bill. So there's various ways to keep your phone bill down. But I think the best thing to do really is to just get a SIM when you arrive at the airport. Check with your phone provider that you are allowed to use a foreign SIM, because sometimes they block it, again, as a protection thing, and pop it in your phone. And usually when you're using WhatsApp with a foreign SIM, it still comes up as your existing number. So, you know, all your friends and family won't be like, who on earth is this? Usually anyway. And it's unbelievably cheap. Like my phone bill every month is like $7. And most places have Wi-Fi, but not all of them, and not all of it's quality Wi-Fi. So obviously when you're arriving in the airport and you might need to communicate with either me or the driver or somebody else, it's just great to just know that you've always got access to data. So that's the next tip. If you want to just stick with your own phone, if that's too much faff, maybe maybe get in touch with your phone provider and say, how much would it be for me to use my phone in Indonesia for whatever duration of time that you're here, 1 or 2 weeks? And they may be able to do like a bolt-on package where it means it'll never go beyond, say, like $20, $30 or whatever. Because if you decide to go for a little walk and you want to use your Google Maps to get around, it's just like that reassuring feeling, knowing you will never get lost, or you know, you need to order a Grab or a taxi, knowing that you've got data. Or if you're stuck in traffic and you need to notify wherever you're going, your phone has always got access to communication. So there are my tips. I hope they're helpful. If there's anything that I've missed that you think of, please tell me. I'm forever learning and growing myself, and I can always refresh these videos for future patients. And I love learning from you all. So yes, have a beautiful day. And as always, if there's anything else that you need, please reach out. Mwah.